Good morning, Impression Hall. We're coming to you this Tuesday, the 19th day of August, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. The House Appropriations Panel opens deliberations on the proposed 2026 national budget, with Speaker Martin Romualdez vowing transparency. But the briefings kick off with fireworks as Congressman Toby Chanco demanded, unsuccessfully, the small committee report on this year's budget. Online gambling operators are shifting tactics amid tighter scrutiny. Senator Erwin Tulfo reveals they have started moving to encrypted messaging and even e-commerce apps after e-wallets cut their links on central bank's orders. And actress Nadia Montenegro resigns from her Senate post after being linked to alleged marijuana use inside the chamber. But she insists she was not the staffer mentioned in reports and maintained no such incident ever involved her. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, the House of Representatives began tackling the 2026 general appropriations, but tensions rose when Representative Toby Chanco raised concerns over last year's budget. Marian Enriquez with the story.
It was supposed to be a briefing, not a hearing, meaning the economic managers were simply supposed to present how they came up with the national expenditure plan. But things quickly got heated when Navota City Representative Toby Chanco challenged new House Appropriations Chair Mika Sonsing to produce the small committee report from last year. The small committee, composed of House leaders, was allegedly where the insertions and reallocations in the 2025 budget were made. Swansing tried to push back by saying she wasn't the appropriations chair at that time.
That's not acceptable. This is public records. Pareho pa naman yung COMSEC natin. At yan dapat linalagay sa archives. But if within 5 minutes wala yan, ibig sabihin wala yan, ngayon palang gagawa yan.
The small committee is subsumed within the Committee on Appropriations, and it is the Committee on Appropriations who's required to submit the committee report. In this case, the report and the output of the Committee on Appropriations is the HGAB.
No, it's not. The HGAB is different from a committee report. Just like any other bill, the bill is different from the committee report. There must be a committee report included to the bill. It is not one and the same.
Chanco wanted to see in particular who moved what in the House General Appropriations Bill, or HGAB. He also questioned why, while there's digital copies of the National Expenditure Program and the General Appropriations Act, there's no electronic copy of the HGAB. In the end, Chanco had to agree to wait for the copy to be provided by the committee secretary, provided that the so-called independent congressman like him be accorded representation in the subcommittee to be formed for the review of budget amendments. The Development Budget Coordination Committee were represented at the briefing by Budget Secretary Amina Pangandaman, Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, and Bangko Sentral Deputy Governor Zeno Abinoja. Recto said the previous administration left behind 12.8 trillion pesos in debt. This year, only 4.64 trillion of the 6.35 trillion peso national budget is actually supported by government revenues. He broke this down to 17.4 billion pesos in expenses, 12.72 billion pesos in financing by revenue collection, and 4.68 billion in loans on a daily basis. But Recto insists these aren't bad loans.
80% niyan, inuutang natin sa ating sarili, domestic. It is an asset of the Filipino people as well, yung 80% na yan, di ba? So binabayaran din natin yung ating sarili. And that's how we manage our debt.
But all of them agree it's becoming more challenging to manage the budget. Thus, the need to search for more revenue sources without imposing new taxes or debts. Among these is government-owned and controlled corporations' dividends, which the DOF increased to 75 from 50%. There was also talk of a tax on single-use plastics, which was a holdover from the CREATE Act.
So far, we are on track to meet our medium-term fiscal framework targets, with revenue collections growing by double-digit for the last 3 years at an average of 13.8% annually. Tax collections have also consistently expanded at an average of 11.5% annually.
For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
Navota City Representative Toby Chanco urged that the House Independent Bloc be granted representation in the subcommittee on budget amendments. In an interview on The Big Story, he emphasized that independents, like the majority and minority, deserve a voice in the budget process. Chanco appealed for their active participation in the panel's deliberations.
Ang tanong ko lang is kung merong representation yung majority, yung minority, yung
Independent?
yung parties, bakit naman yung independent hindi na lang naisama para may boses kaming mga independents.
Meanwhile, Chanco believes that replacing the small committee with a subcommittee on budget amendments will promote transparency. He also expressed optimism over the introduction of new budget reforms and safeguards.
Ang kaibahan ngayon, based on the commitment of Chairperson Swansing, is that yung report ng subcommittee on budget amendments na ipapasa siyempre sa mother committee, which is the Committee on Appropriations, will be shown to the members in plenary, and kung ano yung ma-approve on second reading, wala nang babaguhin.
Former NBI Director Jaime Santiago vehemently denies claims that he kept a so-called bagman in his unit. He resigned amid allegations that an associate was collecting payola for him from Isabong and Pogo operators in exchange of protection. Santiago claimed there are groups with vested interests in his position who are behind a smear campaign. Now, in his resignation letter, he said he would not allow any orchestrated move to destroy the reputation he built through the years.
Yung pinagpipilitan si Paul Tangkad ay kolektor ko. Mga kasama, uulitin ko. Andiyan ang members ng media. Itingin ako sa inyo eye to eye. Tumayo ngayon ang inuobliga ko na magkaroon ako ng lingguhan, monthly. Tumayo ngayon, parang awa nyo na. Kung meron akong inuutusan sa inyo na magbigay sa akin ng pera, ay Diyos ko, lagi kong guide sa inyo, gusto ko trabaho, trabaho, trabaho.
Public Affairs Officer Nadia Montenegro has resigned from Senator Robin Padilla's office. That's after she was embroiled in an alleged marijuana incident inside the Senate, an allegation she has since denied. Here is the report.
In a 5-page written explanation dated August 15, Nadia Montenegro announced her immediate resignation as Political Affairs Officer of Senator Robin Padilla. She said this was for her mental health and the well-being of her children. Montenegro issued the explanation after being linked to an alleged marijuana incident inside the Senate. According to Montenegro, the accusations have brought her and her family severe pain and distress, destroying her reputation over a story she insists is false. Montenegro strongly denied being the staff member allegedly found inside the Senate restroom where marijuana was supposedly smelled. She clarified that her resignation was not an admission of guilt, but rather a sign of respect for the Senate and Senator Padilla's office to prevent the controversy from causing further damage. Senator Padilla has accepted Montenegro's resignation. He also concluded his office's internal probe into the issue, but vowed to cooperate should the Senate decide to pursue its investigation into the alleged smell of marijuana in the compound. Following the controversy over the supposed pot session in the Senate, Senator Mig Zubiri and his entire office underwent drug testing on Monday. A 5-panel drug test was conducted on Senator Zubiri and his staff, which covered shabu, marijuana, ecstasy, cocaine, and opium. He said that if any of his staff tests positive, they will be suspended and required to undergo rehabilitation before returning to work. Senator Raffy Tulfo and his staff are scheduled to undergo drug testing on Tuesday.
Sibak, no ifs, no buts, no exception. Kahit na sino pa yung pag nag-positive, tanggal. Bakit pa suspend rehab? Tanggalin na lang.
Senate Minority Leader Tito Soto earlier wrote to Senate President Chis Escudero, calling for the re-implementation of mandatory random drug testing in the chamber. Escudero confirmed the Senate is ready to comply. Meanwhile, Padilla has filed a measure requiring mandatory annual drug testing for government officials. If enacted, this will cover both elected and appointed officials, including those in government-owned and controlled corporations.
Coming up, with online gambling operators now moving from e-wallets to other platforms, how big is the challenge for authorities? We will throw that question to the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or the CICC. When we return, please stay with us. Good morning, Impression On here at Morning Matters. We talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. Senator Erwin Tulfo warned that online gambling operators are finding new ways to reach the public despite tighter scrutiny and the recent delinking of gambling sites from e-wallets. He said many have started migrating to encrypted messaging and e-commerce platforms. Tulfo vowed to work with the private sector to develop a holistic approach to the issue. He also noted that there are now nearly 12,000 illegal gambling sites nationwide. To tell us more about this, we now have on the show Undersecretary Aboy Paraiso, the Deputy Executive Director of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Council. Welcome back to Morning Matters, Yusek. Nakamute ho yata kayo.
Yeah, thank you, Gretchen. Sorry. Good to be back, although in a different capacity. Good morning.
Busy po kayo kasi kagabi nasa big story po kayo. Kaya siguro medyo ano pa, no?
Medyo,
Okay, let's
medyo
talk
may time
about,
gap, medyo may ano.
let's
pero
talk about
it's okay,
this
no worries.
problem. I'm sure it's on your mind no matter what time of day it is. No, how concerned is the CICC about this shift from the e-wallets to the encrypted messaging and e-commerce apps? How are we seeing this evolution happening?
Well, it's a natural evolution. It's a natural progression for all these illegal gambling platforms in order to reach their clients. It only means it's kind of a a victory for us. It only means we're really creating that disruption for them. It makes it harder for them that they have to be innovative, they have to be creative in order to continue their business. So we really have to, fight this challenge and, be one step ahead of these criminal or syndicates.
Paano nangyayari yung sa encrypted messaging? I mean, is that just merely sending links to join?
Oh, matagal na natin to nakikita, Gretchen. Actually, before, that's why even before I got here to DC, I had a meeting with NTC and Telegram. Kasi matagal na natin nakikita na that they're using these messaging platforms to create a group chat with their clients, their bettors. So kasi nasimulan na natin mag-take down at saka mag-block ng mga sites nila eh. So they have to use these messaging platforms in order to migrate their patrons to their new sites that kasi na-block na natin yung mga old sites nila. So this is not something new that we see. This is a problem and this is a challenge that we sought to address even before. And I'm happy to announce that because of that meeting with Telegram, they announced that they have zero tolerance policy when it comes to criminal activities with their platforms. They provided already the template in order for us to not only block these criminal entities from using their platforms, but also gain information and hopefully leads that would lead to the arrest and apprehension of these criminal syndicates.
Okay, let's just have some clear distinction here between the legal and the illegal. When you talk about the criminal activities, ito po yung mga illegal website, no? Tama po ba? Na blinak po
Tama.
ninyo? Oo. Pero
Tama,
dun
Gretchen.
sa mga
Yung
legal,
with those without licenses.
oo. Pero puntahan muna natin itong legal kasi sila yung naapektuhan nitong delinking from the e-wallets. Paano naman sila nag-transition now? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think naman ang nawala lang naman doon sa mga delinking doon sa e-wallets is nawala yung mga advertising doon sa mga e-wallet platforms eh. It makes it so accessible for our kababayans really to gain access to whether it's legal or illegal doon sa mga e-wallets nila. So ang tinanggal lang naman yung advertising at saka yung easy access from e-wallet platforms to the gaming sites. But again, it's not especially with the legal sites, it's not prohibited that these gaming or these e-wallet platforms are prohibited from servicing these institutions naman.
So the DICT is primarily concerned with the crackdown on illegal gambling operators.
Yeah, unless there's a law that totally bans
Okay,
these.
all right. Okay,
yung
just to be
mga,
clear, no, para lahat ng
gambling
pinag-uusapan
altogether.
natin dun sa illegal. Okay, Senator Tulfo has mentioned that there are now nearly 12,000 illegal gambling sites nationwide, and about that you have taken down about 8,901. How did we get to this number? Paano kaya natin na monitor yung exact number na ito?
Parang mali yung number. Nasa 10,000 na tayo ngayon. Nasa 10,000 sites na tayo ngayon. So, this is born out of a lot of things. Yung coordination natin with the regulators, PAGCOR, PCSO, our law enforcement partners, yung PNP and the NBI. And now because of the heightened and the new direction of CICT and a heightened response to this criminal menace, which is illegal gambling, talagang sinama natin to doon sa threat monitoring center natin. So, I think talaga on a daily basis, we get around 15 to 20 sites a day. So, imagine with our current tools right now, yun yung nakukuha natin. Imagine if we have the right tools in place to automate our search and detection of these criminal sites, mas marami pa siguro yung number na yan.
Okay. Bakit ganun kadami? Pwede mong i-explain sa amin? Kasi parang usually, di ba, may ilan lang yan na major gaming platforms and then may mga certain games. But I can't imagine how it could be as much as 12,000 illegal gambling websites.
Whether it's illegal or legal, makikita din natin doon sa mga legal sites yan eh. One company would always have a branch of parang nagbabranch out sila. I understand from one legal gaming platform owns about 100 gaming sites. So you would understand the numbers. Plus,
So per
hindi lang
game
naman
yan,
ito yung mga license
depende sa
natin
laro.
pati yung mga outside the country nandito rin sa atin So that number would would really substantiate what we see and detect dito sa threat monitoring center natin.
Okay, so bawat laro may equivalent yan to one website.
May gano'n, halimbawa yung isang
okay.
laro, isang website, or isang website, iba-ibang yung mga laro. It's a mixture of parang iba-iba rin yung promo kada website. So, from the structure I see, isang website, for example, one parent company, iba-ibang mga platforms, iba-iba yung URLs, pero kasi iba-iba rin yung mga partners nila doon, iba-iba rin yung mga investors nila doon.
Hindi ba siya as easy as using or blocking the mother website? Kasi 'di ba usually mga links lang yan, yung parang dinadagdagan mo lang yung URL.
Nako, hindi siya ganun kadali. In fact, that's the reason why marami siyang mga websites kasi ina-anticipate na nila na pag na-shutdown mo itong isa,
Okay.
existing pa rin at hindi pa rin madidisrupt yung negosyo nila.
Okay, but this crackdown that you're doing is as simple as blocking the websites. Am I
Well,
correct?
Well, Gretchen, we don't want to stop there. It's disruption, yes. We're making some headway when it comes to the disruption, but we really want, to make an example of these criminal organizations, put a stop to them, make them accountable. So, disruption is one thing, but we want attribution, makilala natin kung sino-sino sila, apprehension, mahuli natin, prosecution, conviction, the whole 100 yards.
And how are we doing on that end? Are we able to trace these illegal websites to the proponents and the perpetrators?
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is the unfortunate thing about it. Whenever we detect these criminal organizations, we see that they're exploiting this jurisdictional challenge that we see that the back end is outside the country. We see countries like the Bangladesh, Myanmar, UAE, and a whole gambit of countries that are hosting these back ends. But they're victimizing or they're servicing the Filipino public. Tapos yung flow of money, makikita natin that the investment is coming from somewhere else, and when the proceeds are converted into cryptocurrency, we can see that it also leaves the country. So it's more than just an enforcement or I think legislation. I think it also has to do with strengthening our ties with our foreign allies. Kasi this problem is really borderless We understand whenever there's a problem, pagdating sa ICT, borderless talaga to, Gretchen. So whether it's scamming, illegal gambling, ito na talaga yung trend
Are you seeing like major players here in the number of illegal gambling sites that you've tracked that the DICT could possibly begin with? Kasi sobrang dami nga. Baka we can start with one major player.
Yeah, we can start with a bunch of group of these gambling sites. But again, these as alam mo parang natural progression this after Pogo talagang may link from Pigo to Pogo yung mga illegal gambling sites So we can see that they use the same machinery, the same systems, just servicing out different clients.
Okay, but most of the hosts of these websites are abroad.
Yes, most of them.
And that's why the offshore gaming model works, because it is difficult to hold them accountable for whatever it is that they're trying to do illegally.
Yes. Again, jurisdictional challenge. For example, one of the things we encountered when we raided a scam site in Cebu, they're victimizing foreigners from South Africa. Tapos, again, when we consulted with the prosecutors, there's that need for the victims from Africa to come here to the Philippines and file cases. It's the same thing in illegal gambling, scam sites. So it's really a problem that we have to solve when it comes to foreign relationships with our counterparts abroad.
Do we need a new law to be able to run after, or is it really diplomatic ties that is needed?
It's a combination of both. We have to legislate probably the creation of cyber diplomats, which is now a trend in other countries. We also have to legislate acts of cyber terrorism as proposed by Secretary Henry Aguda, and a whole lot of new crimes that evolve. For example, yung yung emergence din ng disinformation, misinformation, and fake news. Itong online gambling problem natin when it comes to yung mga foreign sites natin. So I think it's a combination of both of legislation and diplomatic relationships.
Okay, dito po sa mga illegal gambling sites na nakikita po ninyo, meron ba yung parang may list ba kayo ng mga scams or illegal activities? And what is the biggest or the, I guess, most rampant scheme that you're seeing?
Right now, the biggest scam really in the Philippines is yung mga financial scams natin. Trying to victimize our kababayans when it comes to yung they took advantage of the recent calamity. They said that they have yung mga ayuda programs natin. So yun yung tinitake advantage mo nila.
Okay. Okay. Going back to gaming though and gambling, it seems that some gambling or gaming streamers have not stopped. Several have gone back to live streaming. Yung po ba ay namamonitor din natin? And how is the DICT working with PAGCOR when it comes to advertisements?
Well, we cannot really, nakikita natin may bumabalik talaga sa pag-promote ng gambling. But most of the sites that we see that they're promoting are yung mga legal na, yung mga licensed na. We're hoping that the PAGCOR can also reach out and probably with the help of CICC, reach out to these influencers not only to promote gambling or promote their sites, but also to promote responsible gaming as well.
Parang kagabi yata po sa Big Story, nabanggit po ninyo yung 85% of influencers and artists have complied with the government's directive to stop endorsing illegal online gambling. But for the 15%, so meron pa rin po that continue to promote illegal gambling.
May makukulit pa rin. Yung noong una, yung mga hindi nag-comply. So, napatake down natin yung mga sites nila, yung mga pages nila, yung mga channels nila. And then we ask them to explain why government should not go after them. And then may nakikita rin, to be fair naman, Gretchen, may nakikita rin tayong bumabalik pa rin doon sa pagpupromote ng illegal gambling sites. Only this time, hindi na kami magwa-warning, hindi na kami makikiusap, bigla na lang mapapatanggal yung mga channel nila and then they will receive these notices to explain on why we shouldn't go after them.
But for now, no, everything has to go through the Ads and Standards Council for approval before release. Tama po ba?
Yeah,
So,
that's one of the avenues we are exploring, that we use the ads board really to control these advertisers when it comes to promoting illegal gaming platforms. Yeah, maybe siguro even gaming kasi nakita natin nung si Chairman Altenco nag-order ng takedown ng billboards, he did not distinguish between illegal and legal.
Okay. As a final note, what is your piece of advice to parents who want to protect their children from all of this?
Well, again, probably as all of us parents should do is really monitor our children, make sure that whatever they do online is safe and away from online harms, and probably not give them too much money to spend on gambling sites kasi nakikita natin these are the targets of the illegal gambling sites. It makes it attractive really to children to sinisimulan nila yung gamification ng mga interest ng mga anak natin. So we really have to look after that.
Kasi parang laro lang, ano?
No. Yung dati mga
na-legitimize
nilalaro natin sa PlayStation, sa Xbox. Ngayon nagi-gamify na tapos nagkakaroon ng betting aspect do sa mga larong yun.
Okay, so don't give your children money. Probably just cash.
Cash
In
na lang.
person.
Tama, Gretchen.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong oras at and for waking up for us. I think you said you were in Washington.
Yeah, it's evening here. It's 8:30 in the evening here.
Okay, may abangan ba kami mula sa inyo dyan?
We're here to look at different solutions really for the detection and investigation of cybercrimes and, again, probably strengthening our relationship and trying to solve really this problem of yung borderless nature of cybercrimes.
Okay, thank you very much, and we hope to get our own version of cyber diplomats, as you mentioned. Maybe you could be one, no? Maraming salamat for your time. Undersecretary Aboy Paraiso, the Deputy Executive Director of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Council, joining us all the way from Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
And coming up, the Bureau of Customs is under fire after its online tax calculator allegedly overcharged consumers. We'll get the agency's side from spokesperson attorney Vincent Philip Maronilla. Don't go away. We'll be back after a quick break. Welcome back. You're still with us here on Morning Matters on One News. Customs Chief Ariel Nepomuceno has apologized after actress Bella Padilla exposed discrepancies in the agency's online duty and tax calculator. Nepomuceno announced that the tool has been temporarily taken down for improvements and to avoid further confusion. Padilla earlier revealed she was charged 4,600 pesos in taxes for an online purchase worth 11,000. Now, despite this, the calculator estimated only 1,650 pesos. Nepomuceno admitted the calculator only provided estimates and did not reflect all legal charges under the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act. He assured the public that the upgraded version will offer a clearer, more accurate breakdown of duties and taxes. Let's talk about that story with Customs Assistant Commissioner and Spokesperson Attorney Vincent Philip Maronilla. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Morning, Gretchen, and good morning to your viewers.
Okay, help us understand, first and foremost, what happened with Bella Padilla. Bakit nga po ba naging 4,000 yung 1,600 sa website?
Actually, yung 4,600 was the right duties and taxes, no? I think what's the confusion went her computation, her usage of our online tax calculator. Yung online tax calculator namin did not reflect the items that were needed to be added up, no, to what she was going to pay. But insofar as the initial figure that she got, no, at least from the assessment given by DHL, we were able to explain naman to her the details of that assessment. I think, again, no, ang nagkamali ko yung paggamit ng calculator. In fact, yung calculator namin, when we reviewed it, there were items there that needed improvement, and we needed to integrate some of the charges that are needed for the release of particular shipments, like the ones with Ms. Padilla.
Oo. Bakit po wala yun dati? Meron po bang dinagdag dito sa breakdown of taxes and duties?
Hindi naman. Actually, ang dapat i-consider, idagdag, no? Number one, of course, wala kasi doon yung charges ng courier, no? Kasi for example, yung charges ng DHL, it won't reflect there. That's a private matter between the sender and her courier, no? So I think there's a need for a specific colatilla for that in our calculator. There are also small items there, like the import processing fee and the CDS fees. Minor fees that if you add it up, dadagdag po talaga, at hindi magiging inaccurate yung computation nung taxes mo, no? What it will only reflect is, of course, your basic duties, no? The duty rate that is applied to you, and of course yung declared value mo, no? In fact, yung sinasabi ni Ms. Padilla na 1,000 something, yun po yung talaga namang customs duty na lalabas dun sa calculator. But if you add the value added tax, then it goes up to about 4,000 plus.
Okay, so yung ngayon sa website, ang nakalagay lang po itong declared value and basic duties.
Mako-compute mo yun. May value added tax naman, kaya marami pang add-ons na hindi na factor in, no? Like for example, meron kasi ngayong sistema, no, na yun nga sinasabi ni Ms. Padilla po, no, na yung freight niya to a certain extent, I think parang if I understand it correctly, pag mayroon siyang biniling certain amount, no, free pa yung freight niya. And freight is one of the factor that is added on, no, to your dutiable value, and even to your value added tax for your landed cost. So yun po kailangan namin i-consider, at we have to coordinate with the couriers. Sa amin ho kasi, sa Bureau of Customs, automatic yan, no, na alam namin may freight charges. And according sa batas natin, itong freight charges are dutiable. But in this instance, there might be some arrangement to that, and that needs to be reflected also. An option like that needs to be reflected also in the online calculator. As of now kasi yung option for low value is only for
usually
insurance.
Kasi pag nag-order ka ho, di ba ito po yung amount that you will pay for your product that you're buying, and then the shipping fee is there, and then meron pong tax, yun nga po yung customs tax. So hindi po ba nakaseparate siya to begin with? Tapos ito po yung sinasabi ni Ms. Bella, na if you reach a certain amount, mawi-waive na yan. So dapat hindi na ho siya kasama doon sa tax. Hindi po ba ganun yun?
May option ho dapat na hindi kasama. Wala ho kasing sa universe ho namin, no, usually meron talaga laging shipping fee. Either
Nakasama
it's integrated in the CIF, in the or it's integrated in another in your payment, which is called another kind, no? So that is what we need to look out for now. We need to coordinate with I think the couriers now on what are the charges that they actually give their customers, no? Kung wala ho talagang shipping fee yan, at least ma-reflect din namin sa amin, no? At hindi po magiging add-on. Ang alam mo kasi namin, talagang laging may shipping fee yan. So doon naman po sa batas kasi natin, lagi pong meron dapat mga ganyang components. We're not saying that this is the only confusion that caused it, no? There are other factors also that we're looking into, no? Like yung mga CDS charges namin, IPC charges namin. We're looking to update them, and of course, make the calculator a little bit more user-friendly when it comes to ordinary laymen, no? Nung pagtingin ho kasi namin sa calculator namin, nakita namin parang para masyadong technical. You need to be a broker, or at least well versed with customs transactions to be able to use it more accurately. And that's not good for us because the goal of the online calculator, it is to make it more transparent to the public yung transactions namin, no. Ang goal po niyan para pag bumili yung common na tao, uh, yung common na tao might use that particular calculator po para po ma-estimate niya kagad kung magkano yung magiging duties and taxes niya to help our countrymen decide whether to purchase that particular item or not due to its tax consequences.
And this tax calculator is a website that is separate from the estimate of the e-commerce platform. Tama po ba?
Yes, yes. That's yung tax calculator namin nasa website namin.
Kasi yung e-commerce platform, usually meron niyang estimate di po ba? Na parang idadagdag po ninyo when you buy. Okay, just to help our viewers understand what taxes they are paying for, can we break that down? Because nabanggit niyo po, no, CDS, IBC, ano po yung mga yun? No? Pwede ba nating isa-isahin para lang din po malinaw?
Opo, so bali ang mangyayari po, no, I hope and this is very technical, but for the understanding of everybody, ang nangyayari sa batas po natin, ang basis ng taxes nyo ay kung magkano po ang bili nyo doon sa isang bagay. So anything above 10,000 pesos, dutyable na po yan. Ibig sabihin may tax po yan. 10,000 pesos at pababa po, wala pong duties yan. Yun po tinatawag nating de minimis threshold. So pag bumili po kayo ng anything above 10,000, automatic po magbabayad kayo ng buwis. At kung ano man po yung value na yon, plus yung other charges nyo, like for example sa batas, yung bank charges nyo, i-add po yun and that would constitute your, what you call your dutiable value. Tapos i-multiply po yun sa duty rate. Ang duty rate po natin, depende po sa item at yung country of origin. Let's say it ranges from about 0 to 35%. Depende sa item nga po at depende sa country of origin nyo. No? So let's say for example, ang dutiable rate ng item nyo is 10%. So kung magkano po yung value ng item nyo, plus yung added charges po sa ilalim ng batas natin, let's say for example, if we have bank charges, then that's add-on. So pag i-add nyo po yun po yung dutiable value times 10%, yun po yung customs duty nyo. So yun po yung first part ng inyong tax, customs duty. Meron pa po kayong babayaran na value-added tax, which is 12%. And in that value-added tax, naka-base po yun sa tinatawag nating landed cost. So it's not based on your dutiable value, that's based on your landed cost. Ano po ba yung landed cost? So meron na po kayong dutiable value, mag-a-add po kayo pa ng arrastre charges, brokerage fee, wharfage due, and of course your documentary stamp, and your import processing fee. And when that is all added up, you get your what you call your landed cost. And the landed cost added on, dun po naman kinukuha yung 12% VAT. So you add now the duty na kaninang kinumpute natin, plus yung 12% nyo po dun sa landed cost, then you get the entire amount that you're going to pay.
Malaki po.
Well, ang problema lang namin, syempre, these are obligations under our laws, no? And the Bureau of Customs only implements them.
Okay,
And that's why we want to
go
be more transparent about it by giving our countrymen a tool, no, to aid them in their decision making, and help them compute to an estimate, to the nearest estimate at least, no, based on the information that they have, kung magkano po yung more or less babayaran nilang duties and taxes through sana dito sa aming online calculator.
Na nakalagay po yung mga nabanggit po ninyo na itemized,
Opo.
no? Para malinaw kung ano yung mga dagdag. Okay. Ano ba itatanong ko? Yung sa mga when it comes to the duty rate, are there countries that that we have a treaty with that is exempted from these taxes? They're not exempted, but they're zero rated, ma'am. We call them zero rated. Therefore, zero po yung duties at wala talagang babayaran. Magkaiba po kasi yung exempted sa zero rated, no? So, zero rated po sila. Ma'am, there's also a tool for that, no? And I think medyo mas simple yun.
They can go to the Tariff Commission website. Meron po tinatawag na tariff finder doon. Nandun din po yung mga different trade agreements natin. They can choose, click it there, and then they'll be given the tariff rate for each item. So ang mangyayari po dyan, yung tinatawag po nating MFN or yung most favored nation na rate, yun po yung yun po yung rate dun sa lahat ng bansa na ina-assume natin na wala tayong free trade agreement. Now, for other countries that we have free trade agreement with, meron po dong box that they can tick. So, if that free trade agreement is applicable to their item, they can tick that box at lalabas po doon kung ano yung preferential rate na pwedeng gamitin sa item nila when it comes to their
And
duty
is that
rate.
applied to this tax calculator, to the duty rate?
We can link that, ma'am. That's what we
Oo.
want to also put there, no? Link the tariff finder to the tax calculator.
Ililink nyo lang po. Pero hindi po siya, yung duty rate will be standardized. Hindi
No,
siya
it's not
applied pa.
standardized, ma'am. There's a ang nangyayari, ma'am, if you look at the tax calculator, you need to input the tapos there's a little bit of a drop down menu for the duty rates, no. You'll have to choose which particular country and which particular
Item.
transactions, item that's there. So yun po, may mga ganun kaming dapat improvements there, no. Again, we need to update some of that because there are now newly entered into bilateral trade agreements that we need to include there also.
Yeah, and of course, the tariffs, the new tariffs of the United States, right? On
Yeah, the zero tariff.
Okay, but the other pero pagka-import naman zero tariff tayo sa kanila, tama na? Tapos
Ngayon lang,
pabaliktad
ma'am.
export, oo. So they're zero rated with us.
There will be because of the recent agreement entered
correct.
into by the president.
Okay.
There's a trade agreement there, and it will define the application of the zero-rated tariff rate. No, but again, I think our economic managers and the tariff commission, who determines the tariff rates, will have to give us that list. Whether or not it is a full zero or there are, of course, items there, no? Hindi naman po yata lahat ibinigay na zero. There are highly sensitive lists, meaning there are items na pinangangalagaan din natin because there are local industries here na mukhang naman pong hindi binigay ng ating Pangulo na, of course, will be included also there.
Okay, so if it's zero rated, people will just have to pay for the import processing fee and documentary stamp tax, ganun na lang po,
Yes,
yun na lang po ang babayaran,
Yes, ma'am.
which is
Yes, ma'am. And of course,
reflected on the
the
landed
value-added
cost.
tax.
And the value-added tax. Okay. So ano po yung mga bansang yun? para pag nag-shopping po kami. ano yung mga zero-rated na mga
Zero-rated
country?
tayo, ma'am, is of course China. Meron tayong ASEAN-China Free Trade Area. So, ACFTA, they might want to look into that. We have a free trade agreement also with Korea under the ASEAN-Korea Free Trade Area. We have one with Australia and New Zealand. We have one with India. We have one with Japan. Yun po. And of course, we have a bilateral agreement with the EFTA states, no? Yung European Free Trade Area states, Switzerland, Liechtenstein. So apat po na bansa yan. And of course, we have a bilateral agreement with Japan also. So yung PGEPA po, o yung GPEPA na tinatawag, meron din po nun. So there are items there that are zero rated already. But I think the most complete list, at least upon perusal, is of course the one that we have with China.
Okay. And that explains why we can buy so cheap from China. Thank you so much for enlightening us over the incident. We hope to see the tax calculator very soon. What are your timelines for the release of the new one?
We're giving our Management Information Systems Technology Group 30 days to be able to complete the upgrade of the tax calculator. That includes testing already, and of course, maybe a beta version first, no? So that we'd be able to get feedback from the public before we release the full version of the tax calculator.
All right. Thank you so much for your fast response to the call of Bella Padilla. We hope to see more of that, and makatulong tayo sa ating mga kababayan na pumili, tama po kayo dyan, to make more informed choices. We have Customs Assistant Commissioner and Spokesperson Attorney Vincent Philip Maronilla. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Matters.
Thank you, ma'am, and good morning po.
And don't go away, more matters to discuss after a short break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque stressed that the recent altercation with other Duterte supporters in The Hague stemmed from personal differences, not over a few pieces of humba. Here is the report.
Former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says he has no issue with eating humba, but clarified that it wasn't what sparked a recent altercation with other supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte in The Hague, Netherlands. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Roque recalled being invited to a birthday gathering for content creator Alvin and tourism.
Alam nyo naman, sa birthday, dyan sa Duterte Street, kanya-kanyang dalam ng pagkain. Hindi naman na naghanda yung birthday celebrant, kundi iba't ibang mga grupo, nakaugalian na yan, talaga nagdadala ng pagkain dyan.
However, his presence there was supposedly not welcome by other supporters of Duterte, specifically those close to Alvin. He also clarified that a viral photo showing him eating was misleading, explaining that he had spaghetti on his plate, not humba.
Actually, yung picture, ang kinakain ko doon spaghetti. Kasi hindi siya humba man lang ang kinakain ko. Although aminado ko, kumain ako 3 maliit na piraso ng humba kasi nga ang nagluto noon yung aking mami Janet.
Roque insisted the conflict was not political but rather rooted in personal differences.
I wouldn't call it politika. Kasi yung grupo ni Alvin at saka itong tao na kaibigan nga niya na nanumbat, ever since ayaw nila sa DDS. Ayaw nila sa Maisog. It's really between yung organized group na Maisog at saka DDS at saka yung grupo nila Alvin.
Former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque has outlined a series of activities being prepared by supporters ahead of former President Rodrigo Duterte's hearing at the International Criminal Court. Roque told 1PH sa totoo lang that a rally will be held in Amsterdam on September 19, followed by a march in The Hague on September 20. On September 21, a panel discussion and whole-day event will be held for about 1,000 Filipinos. From September 23 to 26, nightly prayer vigils are going to be held outside the ICC in support of the former president. Roque said ordinary citizens can only pray while the legal team will handle the defense. Duterte is currently at the ICC on charges of crimes against humanity. His confirmation of charges hearing is scheduled to begin on September 23. Tensions rose in the Senate as the minority opposed the proposed membership split for the Commission on Appointments. Majority Leader Senator Joel Villanueva announced that 10 members from the majority and 2 from the minority will serve in the CA, the body tasked with confirming or rejecting presidential appointments. Senate Minority Leader Tito Soto questioned the 10-2 split, arguing that membership should be based on party representation rather than a simple majority-minority count. Villanueva defended his computation, insisting it followed proportional representation practices used in previous Congresses. In the end, Villanueva said he would abide by whatever decision the Senate reaches regarding CA membership.
We were expecting, the simple respect to the members of the minority na kinakausap naman kami. Hindi kami salimpusa dito. We can make this easy for you and we can make it also difficult for you.
No one's robbing of anything. The power to choose who among them will sit as members of the Commission on Appointments belong to the Senate, Mr. President. And that's why, Mr. President, even this representation who made that motion will submit to the decision of every member.
Business groups are warning that corruption and a lack of accountability could undermine investor confidence amid the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. This comes amid a joint statement from the Makati Business Club, the Management Association of the Philippines, and Justice Reform Initiative and Integrity Initiative. They are urging the Supreme Court to reconsider their decision on the impeachment of the Vice President. NBC Executive Director Rafael or Apa Ongpin told Storycon that the issue is not just about business, but about the public's right to know where taxpayers' money went.
I want to emphasize that this is not just a concern for prospective foreign investors. This is a concern for big Filipino conglomerates and so on who need a rule of law, who need public accountability, because right now our businesses are being shaken down by various government agencies.
In weather, Tropical Depression Juaning has slightly accelerated while moving towards the Ryukyu Islands. It was last spotted 650 kilometers east-northeast of Itbayat, Batanes. Juaning is packing winds of 55 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 70 kph. It is expected to exit the Filipino area of responsibility this morning. And Pag-asa says Juaning may still intensify into a tropical storm, but this is not the most likely scenario at this time. In the meantime, easterlies will bring rain to the Visayas, Bicol region, Mimaropa, and Zamboanga Peninsula today. Also affected are northern Mindanao, Caraga, Davao region, and Quezon. Downpours are also expected over the rest of Mindanao, Metro Manila, and the rest of Luzon due to localized thunderstorms. And if you've headed over to the north, Quezon City observes a holiday today in honor of former President Manuel L. Quezon's birth anniversary. Now, this annual observance celebrates the legacy and contributions of the father of the national language and the first president of the Commonwealth of the Philippines. While most government offices are closed, essential services will continue to operate. Other upcoming holidays this month include Ninoy Aquino Day on August 21 and the National Heroes Day on August 25. We'll head on over to Quezon City for less traffic out on the streets. That's good news for the schools there, the students there. In the meantime, that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the name matter. My name is Gretchen Noah. We are One News, all sides, all the time.